It's no secret that here on this channel we are very big fans of Mitsubishi Motors. I myself own a bright yellow Evo. We had an Eclipse on this channel at one point in time. Ian now drives the car that got us our first 1,000 subs, a Mitsubishi Lancer. And we're trying to put a 4G63 into an S chassis. So, as you can tell, we're at least decent enough fans that we want to do some crazy stuff. So when we find out that Mitsubishi as a brand is just not listening to we the people, and more importantly, its own shareholders, we gotta talk about it. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to this video. Like we said in our preface, I'm a huge Mitsubishi nut, and seeing what I've seen in the news lately has just been absolutely frustrating, because we want to see Mitsubishi succeed, and more importantly, we want to see it return to its glory in the 90s, because I mean, no one can deny just how good the Eclipses were, just how good all of the generations of Evo were. Like even the 3000 GT and FTO, like great cars. We just don't know what happened. We don't get it. Why did they depart from a winning strategy and slowly over the course of almost 20 years end up in this very benign familial vehicle state? How did we do this? Why? It makes no sense. You see, I was reading in Forbes, as any entrepreneur would, and I came across this article that talked about how Mitsubishi was reopening Ralliart, which is amazing. It had been closed for somewhere around 10 years. It's something that helped make good Mitsubishi cars all throughout the entire duration of the brand's existence. It was something that truly was a gem in that crown jewel, and we need it to keep these really cool cars alive. If they would be smart and take notes from their other parent company, Nissan, used Ralliart as a heritage program so that people like myself who are still trying to buy, OEM parts to keep my car alive, that would be really, really helpful. And also be a really easy way for the brand to just continue to get money, even though, it's not gonna be a lot. It's still gonna be something that keeps the business alive. And after hearing that they had lost $3.2 billion last year, yeah, they definitely need something to keep themselves alive. And if they make Ralliart produce old parts, that would be a great way to keep themselves going. But no, for whatever reason, this is where the angry fan rant comes in. For whatever reason, the Mitsubishi president just apparently is very deaf to the world around him. In another article I was reading in Auto Evolution, he very clearly stated that he wants people to experience the Mitsubishi-ness of their brand, while completely ignoring the real fan base, and more importantly, his own shareholders. He's quoted saying that there's a lot of hype and attention for our up-and-coming vehicles. And I had to sit there and go, I didn't even know you had up-and-coming vehicles. And I'm very, very watchful of anything you guys put out material-wise, saying what you've got coming out next. Like the Eclipse Cross PHEV, nobody cares, man. No one wants that. And the people who do want that are not indicative of who would buy it. The people who want it are people who just want to push brands into this isolated go green corner and completely forget that motorsports is still a thing everywhere in the world. In fact, the article I was reading recently had said that he was most likely referring to his PHEV Eclipse Cross, the EV AirTech, and the new model of the Outlander. Cool. And we get it. SUVs are a huge part of the market. If you just look at any given highway, you'll see that. But it's almost like the people running Mitsubishi now are just tone deaf. Because as an enthusiast of both cars in general, but most importantly Mitsubishi, you have to look at what's going on around you. You have to look at the competition. And if you look at the competition, you'll very clearly see Mitsubishi is just left dead in the water right now. Look back over the last 10 years. Analyze what's been going on for the last 10 years. And you'll just see that Mitsubishi's been left dead in the water the whole time. Sure, there were some economic struggles and some economic strife that they had to deal with, and they ended up having to shut down pretty much all of their cars except for, well, the Mirage, which is a micro car. But even when you started to pull out the whole, you needed something, and the problem was you had continuously missed the mark. Pretty much since 2006. It's just, there wasn't anything there. But look at everybody else around Mitsubishi, especially in Japan. At 10 years ago, being 2011 / we'll call it 2012, we've had the 370 out for a couple years. We had the GTR out for a little while, but at that point was still relatively fresh. But both of these cars are like way outside of people's reach because they're pretty expensive. I mean, the starting price on a 370 was what? $45,000, $50,000. The GTR you could buy one used at like $60,000, but to get one new was close to 100 grand, and that's not exactly attainable for everybody. Subaru and Toyota had just come out with the GT86 platform, and that would turn out to be a huge shining moment in the brands plural, excuse me, because, well, it's a persistent model even through today, and it's very sought after. People want it. It's a cheap sports car, and it drives really well. Add to this that we had the ND Miata come out right around this time, and the smaller sports car market started to blow up, and that was an opportunity that Mitsubishi absolutely missed. But here we are now, years later, and we've got a new Supra. We've got a new Z coming out. There's been murmurings of a new GTR coming out. We've had crazy good success with the GT86 platform, so much so that there are special edition variants of it. The STI is still going strong and proving to be a very reliable source of income for Subaru. The Type R, do we need to keep on going? There has been tons of great success stories in Japan, and yet here we are as the fans of Mitsubishi left with nothing. We don't have anything to show for it. In fact, we have the smallest lineup ever for the brand and terrible sales in 2020. And we get it, COVID was a thing, but to lose $3.2 billion when some of your other competitors are continuing to do relatively okay means something needs to change. And sure, opening Ralliart is a step in the right direction, but we still don't have a sports car. And every single other brand in Japan has one. And more importantly, every single one of these brands has been playing off of one key factor: nostalgia. You see, when I made my video way back when about the market missing link being in Eclipse, I made it very clear that you could easily make a ton of money off of that car by just simply using the tech you already have. All you'd have to do as Mitsubishi Motors, all you'd have to do is take the pre-existent 4V11, find some way to make it even more tunable, more functional, and make two cars with it. A four-door sedan that would be your Evo, and please, for the love of God, make it an iron block instead of a aluminum block this time. Tuners will thank you. And then with that same said 4B11, make a hatchback and give us back an Eclipse. Right there, you have so much money in R&D just completely just saved like that. And then you put it out there, hey, we're working on a sports car lineup again. And more importantly, we want to see what you guys want out of a sports car again. All the Evo guys, myself included, will just simply say, make an Evo 10 but better, and with better styling that pays homage to an older model, maybe the CT9A chassis, maybe even go back even further. You would have very, very positive news for once about your brand. And more importantly, it'll be very easy for you to sit there and go, hey Nissan, can we get a loan from you so that we can continue to develop this car, because they don't have a turbo sedan. And given that they're more or less your parent company at this point, if I'm Nissan, I would go, yeah, I can help you with that, because you're not trying to crash in on what we're doing. And with the Eclipse, you would have it as a front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive option, and that's still not encroaching on the Z, which has always been a hatchback. So you're still putting yourself into the market in such a way that you're filling little niche voids that are there, but also are playing off of people's nostalgia. You have to base these cars off of previous models. And if you don't believe us, look at how well the 400Z has been received. It looks incredible. Everything about it is great. And the best part is they're offering it in the same consistent package it's always come in. And that's a form of a 6-cylinder engine, and the name of the car matches the displacement. Sometimes the horsepower, but typically the displacement. And with us getting a 4-liter V6, come on. You're literally playing homage to the very first Z car, being the 240Z, which is a 2.4-liter inline 6. It was perfect. And more importantly, its styling, it pays homage to two of the most loved of the Z chassis, being the 2nd gen Z32 and the 280Z. Even my dad was looking at it and going, yeah, I would buy that, because he likes the 280. And more importantly, it looks like its old predecessors. It looks great. It's a change from what they had been doing, but it's one that was well desired. You could do the exact same thing with the Evo and Eclipse and it would make you money. So please, please, Mitsubishi president, listen to us. Listen to we the people. Your shareholders are asking you to bring back Evo. Multiple news outlets have reported this, and it's showing how tone deaf you are. And if you're willing to hear us, that would help change your perception, help you keep a job, and more importantly, set you up for better success in the future, because now people like me would go, yeah, if I made money or was willing to step out on a limb, I would buy into a new Eclipse, provided it was the sports car sedan type thing that it was back in the day. Not in the Eclipse Cross. The market is hyper saturated with SUVs. We want cars again. And the proof is in what's coming over here now. The RS6 Avant, a wagon. Something that's been missing in our markets for a long time. Even brands like Ford are realizing that, yeah, leaning so hard onto the truck side of things isn't a bad play, but we're missing out on a lot of potential money by not having other cars other than the Mustang. For them, if they brought back the Falcon and did it right, that would be probably a really good way to make some more money, because sedans are more fuel efficient than trucks. And that is probably where we're going to be heading as a collective whole while the EV thing starts to try and figure itself out. So please, Mitsubishi, if you watch this, hear the complaints and cries of a longtime fan. But with all that said, what do you guys think? What do you as the viewers think? Let me know down in the comment section, because I really do want to see this brand come back to the way it was. And I'm curious what you think they should do in order to help right the ship without being crazy, crazy drastic. But with all that said, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And yeah, we'll see you on another episode. God bless you guys, and peace.